we've shifted to recognizing that it turned out that creating an economic trading unit in North America with Canada, Mexico, and the United States has been, for the most part, to our mutual advantage. If anything, Mexico got the worst of it, which is another reason we can't cut them loose now. Claudia Sheinbaum and the government of Mexico deserve our full support, and we work together because that makes us stronger. We know that isolationism and protectionism, as much as they're now part of Trump's playbook, have never been a Canadian strength. We believe in cooperation, multilateralism, and we negotiate from strength. We listen to President-elect Trump's concerns. We dispute the nonsense that our border is allowing fentanyl and criminals to pour into the United States. We present the evidence to him that that's not the case. We don't need to kowtow. We need to point out to him that trade is not a zero-sum game. The fact that they buy more stuff from us than we buy from them doesn't mean that they're losers. Actually, having access to a lot of high-quality goods that they buy at a price that is, especially given the Canadian dollar at the moment, a bargain, doesn't mean they've lost. This is not mercantilism. The trade rules that have been developed for multilateral trade through liberalization and many trading blocs around the world, whether we're looking at the Canada-European trade agreements, Canada to Asia, and certainly CUSMA, we know that these relationships matter. Interestingly enough, there was a recent, I'm deviating, I do that. The Economist had a recent column from someone who goes by the nom de plume Charlemagne. Maybe Canada should join the European Union. We have a lot in common. Obviously not geography. We have in common the geography of North America, Canada, U.S., and Mexico, and we negotiate from strength, and we stress that the goods and the resources we sell to the United States benefit their economy enormously. What would U.S. agriculture do without Canadian potash? What would the U.S. economy, I know that some of our premiers are freelancing, and okay, Doug Ford, go for it, but listen, we're not going to cut the U.S. off of energy supplies. We're trading partners. We're not combatants. And that symbiotic relationship of our trade throughout North America needs to be stressed. But as much as Donald Trump has decided to throw out this, I've mentioned Panama Canal, Greenland, and this nonsense, and I think it's time that some Canadian leadership stood up and said, sorry, Donald Trump, as kind as your offer might be, that we should be the 51st state, there's a hard no on that. Clifford Lincoln, former Quebec Environment Minister, had an excellent letter to Donald Trump in yesterday's Montreal Gazette. No, thank you, Mr. Trump. We will not really seek to be, and I quote, ever happy little clams in a magnificent MAGA ocean. Newsflash, Donald Trump, we are not aspiring to be a 51st state. We are already a sovereign country. We are a nation. And anytime anyone looks around the world for the top 10 places to live, Canada's in the top half of the top 10, always. The United States? Never. Even the U.S. News and World Report, which puts together such a list, looks at things like affordability, access to health care, safe streets. Where do you want to live? Canada. Our Olympic athletes, when climbing the podium, don't stand up there and sing, oh, to be somewhere down the list after Puerto Rico. No. We sing the true north, strong and free. We stand on guard, O Canada. We stand on guard for thee. So no matter how many Trump photos of him in business suits striding a Swiss mountain he posts with a Canadian flag, we're not intimidated. So I read a lot, and I say, okay, people who know Trump in business deals say this is his tactic before negotiation. Humiliation, business approach. Okay, so I take offense. We do not strive to be the 51st state. We're a G7 country. We are part of the world as an independent, sovereign nation. Comme Canada, nous sommes déjà une nation, nation fière. Nous sommes une nation avec les relations dans les Nations Unies, un membre des Nations Unies, membre de l'Organisation mondiale de commerce, membre des groupes multilatéraux. We're part of the Commonwealth. Nous sommes membres de la francophonie. Nous avons un rôle important dans le monde, avec les relations avec les autres pays et comme une nation avec un bilan coopératif, un bilan d'efforts multilatéral, nous avons le respect des autres nations du monde. So no, sorry. And I really also take offense, sorry, Mr. Trump, took offense to your idea that Pierre Poilievre wasn't good enough to lead the Conservatives. Wayne Gretzky, I mean, he's great. He is the great one. He skates to where the puck is going. It's not going to MAGA. The puck is on a Canadian ice rink. And by the way, Mr. Trump, please, before making public pronouncements that Wayne Gretzky should run for prime minister, give yourself or get yourself a briefing on the nature of parliamentary democracy, a Westminster parliamentary system, and a constitutional monarchy where no one runs for prime minister. We have elections for members of parliament. We don't get to pick and choose among our billionaire friends for who gets a seat at the cabinet table. If they're not an elected member of parliament, well, Canadian system is different from that of the United States of America. I suggest that Mr. Trump find one of his grandchildren's school books and look at the year 1776, which may explain a few things to him about why our systems of government are different. I don't want to belittle Mr. Trump, but on the other hand, hey, Donald, have we got a deal for you? You think we want to be the 51st state? Nah, but maybe California would like to be the 11th province. How about it? California, Oregon, Washington, you've got geography in common with us. And not only that, we've already got a carbon trading system between California and Quebec. We've got some strong alliances on our west coast from British Columbia. There's been a lot of academic papers on the idea of Cascadia. So California, Governor Newsom, and Washington State, Jay Inslee, and newly elected Governor of Oregon, Tina Kotek. How about it? Want to put a referendum to your citizens? Because this is what you deal. Have we got a deal for you? This is what you get. Free health care. Universal free health care. No more one-year-olds who suddenly fall off the Medicaid list and their parents are in the news because they're trying to do a GoFundMe so they can get their daughter to a doctor. Universal free health care. And guess what? Those gun laws that your Congress is too afraid to pass because of the national gun lobby, we already got our strict gun laws. That's why we have the safest streets around the world, or at least in the United States, by the way, the most recent stats, 5.9 out of every 100,000 people is killed in a fatal gun incident versus 0.88 per 100,000 in Canada. That's because we have strict gun laws. California citizens, Oregon, Washington, safer streets. Here we already have good gun laws, and women have a right to an abortion under our universal health care system. But, we don't have to stop there. Donald, think about it. You could get rid of all these states that always vote Democrat. You know what else will take Bernie Sanders off your hands? Proud new Canadian citizen of the great province of Vermont. Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. We'd love to see you. Our maritime provinces already have deep, deep links and ties. Well, enough kidding around. But honestly, President Trump, get used to it. Canada is a sovereign nation full of, guess what, proud Canadians. We're not jingoistic. We don't boast a lot. That's one of the things we kind of have in common with Jimmy Carter. We're not a big nation for braggarts and bullies. We actually like to think we're of service in the world. We could do better. We can always do better. But we love our country. And it's a country. It's a nation. And we do not aspire to be a 51st state. So let's not hear that anymore. If it was a joke, it was never funny. And it ends now. Thanks. Quelques questions?